Some historians would say the Second Great Awakening, when all the different churches started popping up to the United States in the 1800s. 1800s true, I think of it in that way, but I think of it away in firearms. You had Smith & Wesson, Sam Colt, John Browning, Benjamin Henry, and then of course Oliver Winchester. There isn't a firearm enthusiast alive who doesn't know Oliver Winchester, the sleek design of the first lever-action rifles designed by Benjamin Henry, made famous and popular amongst outlaws, cavalry, heck, even President Theodore Roosevelt. So what do we really know about Oliver Winchester? Let's get into it. Oliver Winchester was born with parents Samuel Winchester and Hannah Bates in Boston, November 30th of 1810. At 14, Winchester had pursued a career in carpentry. However, this endeavor would prove fruitless due to the economy as well as the funds to start up a proper business. With success in selling garments, Winchester had moved to New York City. In 1847, he was awarded a patent for his design for shirts featuring the short collar and the French cuff, on the French cuffs on the sleeves. You would actually have the white stitched into whatever color you would like tailored. Took on a partner doing textiles, John M. Davies. They were successful and did open up shops in New York, New Haven, and Baltimore. But Winchester would receive more fame partnering up with a man named Horace Smith and Dan Weston and their company Volcanic Repeating Arms. Winchester had discovered a division of the Smith & Wesson firearms, which was failing financially, with one of their new patented arms. Having an eye for opportunity, Winchester assembled venture capital with other stockholders and acquired Smith & Wesson's division, better known as the Volcanic Repeating Arms Company. This was finalized in 1855. Winchester had positioned himself as the principal stockholder in the company, relocated to New Haven, changing the name to New Haven Arms Company. Initially, the company was plagued by sluggish returns, which was in part attributed to the poor designs and performance of the original volcanic cartridge, hollow conical ball filled with black powder and sealed by a cork primer. Although the Volcanic's repeater design far outpaced rival technologies of the time, the reliability was horrible and it only came in 25 and 32 caliber cartridges, which were used in the pistol and rifle models respectively. These were little match for competitors' larger calibers, however, but the bonus and upside is Winchester had inherited a brilliant engineer, Benjamin Tyler Henry. With Benjamin Henry on his side, Winchester and Henry had sought to improve the volcanic repeating rifle by enlarging the frame and the magazine to accommodate 17 of his newly redesigned all-brass cased 44 caliber rimfire cartridges. This new cartridge put the new company on the map, and Henry's ingenuity was rewarded with a patent in his name, October 16th of 1860, for what would now be known the world-famous Henry rifle. Henry rifle was manufactured for almost 6 years with a total production of approximately 12,000 rifles, a number of which included iron and brass frame models. Following the success of the Henry rifles, the company was reorganized once more and renamed the Winchester Repeating Arms Company in the year of 1866. Employee Nelson King's new improved patent remedied the flaws that the Henry rifle had by incorporating a loading gate to the side of the frame and integrating a round-sealed magazine covered by a forestock. The first Winchester rifle, model 1866. So there's always the age-long question, why did Samuel Colt produce only pistols and Oliver Winchester only produce rifles? The lore of the firearm legends state that the two giants of these industrial revolution and tentative foray into each other's territory sat down and forged a gentleman's agreement that there would be no further incursions. Both men realized that there was enough room in the growing firearm industry for both to limit themselves to their respective areas of expertise. Sam Colt would stick to perfection and production of the revolver, and Winchester would do likewise with rifles. And both would still reap a handsome profit. Now, that's not saying that neither of them did cross over into each other's turf. However, Winchester, for the most part, had the lever action designs for repeaters, whereas to Sam Colt, working with the revolvers. Now, contrary to a lot of the movies in history, repeating rifles were used in some extent in the American Civil War. However, the United States Army at that time did not use many repeating rifles as they were expensive and too advanced for the outdated tactics used in war. There were a few repeating rifles produced by Samuel Colt. however, not really widely used until afterwards when they became increasingly popular with civilians. Military authorities concentrated primarily on perfecting breech-loading single-shot rifles for many more years, with thousands of rifles in the hands of the average pioneer. The Winchester repeating rifles gained that reputation, the gun that won the West. Oliver Winchester was also very active in politics, serving as the New Haven City Commissioner, Republican presidential elector in 1864, and as Lieutenant Governor of Connecticut from 1866 to 1867. Oliver Winchester died December of 1880. His son William Winchester was the successor. However, he had died of tuberculosis 4 months later. His William's widow, Sarah Winchester, used her inheritance and income for the company to build what is now known as the Winchester Mystery House. From 1883, John Browning worked in partnership with Winchester Repeating Arms Co. and designed a series of rifles and shotguns, most notably the Winchester Model 1885 single shot, Winchester Model 1887 lever action shotgun, and the Model 1897 pump action shotgun. Winchester had accomplished many other achievements, however, that's for another time. The name Winchester will always be known for the repeating rifles of the frontier.